Well. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. Welcome to the World Holy Name Festival Week Day 2. This is me, Rupeshwar Das, and today we are going to celebrate this wonderful session. We are going to start the show with His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji, and after that, the pronunciation class by His Grace Nityananda Prabhuji. And after that, we have a special international Kirtan from Croatia. So first, let's welcome to all of you, and I want to see how many of you are joined there and are excited for day 2. So just go on the chat box and say Hare Krishna to everyone. I want to see the energy. So just go on the chat box and I want to see Hare Krishna. Let me see who is there. Yes, Saket Mishra Prabhuji says Hare Krishna. Rajat ji says Hare Krishna. Kavita Sharma ji says Hare Krishna. Maharaj, Hare Krishna Mataji. We have 27 active participants. We got Ankinchan Damodar Prabhuji says Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sudevi Leela Mataji says Hare Krishna. So everyone, are you ready for today? I want to see the energy. Just go on the chat box. I want to see Hare Krishna, more Hare Krishna. Just go on the chat box. Hare Krishna to everyone. So now let's welcome His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji for the self-care class season 2. Yesterday was just an amazing, and there is a very deep class by His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji, and now it's time for the second session of the class. His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji, an author of the books such as Living the Wisdom of Bhakti, Life as a Spiritual Practice, Jap Affirmation, and Uplift Yourself and Change the World. Mahatma Prabhuji is also well known for his recording of the beautiful timeless prayers, the Brahma Samhita. His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji is initiated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in 1970. So Prabhuji and Mataji, please welcome His Grace Mahatma Prabhuji on the show.
Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvise Sasanyavadi Paschacha Dasatani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Vanchakapaturubhyascha Kripasindhavya Vichapatitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangulangayate girina kripa tamaham bande siguru dinatarinam. So, yesterday, we ended the class by asking a question. You remember that question? Why sometimes we don't care for ourselves as much as we should? So I asked you, why do you think in your particular life or your particular case, that's true? And so what I would like you to do, any of you who did that exercise, or if you didn't do it, you can do it now. You could write in the chat why you think, what the cause is, what's the reason you don't care for yourself as much as you should. Let me give you an example. Example we all have experience of. We're chanting japa. And japa is not good. And we continue to chant bad japa. And we know it's bad. And we continue and we don't improve it. Have any of you ever done that? You don't have to answer because I already know the answer. The answer is yes. So, don't you think that's interesting? Like, we know it's bad, and we continue to chant poorly. We don't do anything. We don't care enough to do anything. What about this one? The alarm goes off. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. And your first thought is, who set the alarm so early? Who was that idiot? It set the alarm so early. You ever think like that? You're looking for someone to curse when you finally realize it was you who said it. Why am I so crazy? I set the alarm so early. And you turn it off and you lay there. Half awake and half guilty that you're not getting out of bed. So why? What's the reason? Why do we do that? Have you ever eaten something that's not good for you? Well, of course, the answer is yes, but have you ever eaten it like every day? Even after your doctor says don't eat it, and you still eat it. Why? Why? This is a very important question, because I was making the point yesterday. If we just turn the meter up on caring for ourselves a little bit, then we wouldn't do these things. When we're not chanting well, we would stop and we would think, I need to improve. When the alarm goes off, we would get up. When we look at that food, the doctor said, if you eat this, you'll die tonight at midnight. We don't eat it. Well, he usually says you'll die in 5 years. And you think, okay, I can enjoy for 5 years. Now, why do we do these things? So can you put your answer in the, why don't we care enough? This is a really important answer for you, because if you care more, it can solve a lot of your problems. Past impressions, yeah. Conditioning. Temptations, procrastination, bad habits, laziness, uncontrolled mind. These are the reasons attachment to certain sense gratification is not good. Too attached. Pride. We got to go deeper. These are more external reasons. But try to think self-soothing with unhealthy things. Okay. I don't care because I'm attached. But go deeper. Go to a deeper answer. I don't care because there's temptation. Go to a deeper answer. Taking it for granted, pleasure, lack of taste. That's all true. That's more external. Go deeper. Why don't I care enough? I'm chanting japa. Why don't I care enough about myself? Okay, I can say I'm lazy, but then I'll ask, why do I allow myself to be lazy? That's really the question. Why do I allow these things to happen? So you say, I take life for granted. There's pleasure. I lack taste. It's easy not to care. I don't respect myself. Yes. I feel worthless. Yes. That's what we're getting to, going deeper. I lack. Oh, well, let's look at it this way. This is very, very interesting. Any of you who have kids, or you imagine if you had a kid or a younger sibling, if they're doing something that's not good for them, normally you tell them, that's not good for you. You shouldn't do it. Because you care about them. Although you may be doing the same thing they're doing. Which means we care more about them than we care about ourselves. In a sense. Or it's easier to tell somebody to do something than to do it yourself. Right? So this answer Deepa gave is a nice answer, not valuing myself. I would also add to that, not being kind to myself, not caring about myself enough. So yesterday, one of the last things we discussed was caring about ourselves enough to care about other things in our life. See, most of these answers you have given, they're external. They're manifestations of a problem. That's not the problem. You say, I'm lazy or I'm attached. It's a manifestation of not caring. It's not the real problem. Yes, Deepa says, not having compassion for self. So Saket says, my mind is causing you to suffer. That's not the problem. You're allowing your mind because you don't care enough. That's the problem. The mind causing you to suffer is the symptom of the deeper problem. So all these answers are symptoms of the problem of not caring enough about our spiritual life. You know, sometimes I give the example. So let's say Saket says, I can't control my mind. I can't jump up on my, I got a special mind. It's like, it runs at like 400 RPMs, It's like, 1 minute it's on the moon, 1 minute it's on Mars, 1 minute it's in the prasadam room, 1 minute it's at the job. I can't control it, right? And I say, Saket, I will pay you 50,000 rupees if you can just sit in the temple and focus on the holy name. So now Saket's thinking, 50,000 rupees. I wouldn't have to work this month. Well, maybe I don't have to work a few weeks. Okay, I think I could do that. I mean, if you're going to give me 50,000 rupees, yeah, I could probably do that. I could not think of the moon and Mars and the prasadam room in my office. Yeah, I could bring my mind back. I could do it. So why could he do it? Well, if he's going to get 50,000 rupees, he cares more about it. There's some like, now I have an impetus. They have done this experiment where men who have sexually abused, maybe minors, sexually abused children, and they say, I can't control myself. And when they're being questioned, they're asked this question: if a policeman, if you were about to sexually abuse a child and a policeman was there with a gun and said, if you do this, I'll kill you, could you stop yourself? And of course, they all said yes. So when the stakes are high, there's things we can do. Maturadas said something nice. I don't care about Krishna and my relationship with Krishna, which means I'm not caring about my ultimate welfare. Yeah. Okay, so the question, Mathura, is why? Why don't we care enough? That's the question. That's the question we have to ask ourselves. So we can say, I'm lazy, I procrastinate, and I will say, very good excuse, but that's not the real reason. That's the symptom. And we got the answer from Deepa. I don't respect myself enough. I don't care about myself enough. It's interesting. And now I would like you to meditate on some things that Prabhupada said or some things your guru has said. And you will realize that in all their instructions, the foundation is you should care about yourself. Okay, let's say Srila Prabhupada says, you should do your sadhana carefully. So what's he saying? You should care about your spiritual life. You should care enough about yourself to care about your spiritual life. That's what he's saying. Isn't it? Isn't that interesting? If you look at every instruction, chant without offense. Why should you chant without offense? So you can go back to Godhead. Why should you go back to Godhead? Because you care about yourself. I was making the point yesterday that if we don't care about ourselves enough, then how can we follow the instructions? The mother tells the child, you shouldn't eat this, it's not good for you. What does the child say? I don't care. I like it. Me gusta mucho. We're in Mexico, so a little Spanish for you. I like it too much, but it's not good for you. I don't care. Prabhu, you should chant better rounds. It's good for you. I know, but I don't care. Now, you wouldn't say that, but that's what's actually happening. Otherwise, if I'm chanting what I call the blah, blah, blah mantra, you have that saying in India, blah, blah, blah. If you don't know what blah, blah, blah means, it means how it sounds. It exactly means how it sounds. Blah. How does the prasadam taste, Prabhu? Blah. Why? No spice. Nothing. It tastes blah. So have you ever chanted the blah, blah, blah mantra? It goes something like this. I'll demonstrate. Just so you can see if you've ever chanted this way. Blah, 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 blah. And when you finish, you feel, how do you feel? You feel full of blah. Yes? Not full of knowledge and bliss and happiness, but full of blah. Okay, I have a question. Have you ever done the blah, blah, blah mantra? Yeah, you don't have to answer. I know the answer is, yeah, I have. And some of you might say, I've never done anything but blah, blah, blah. That's blah, blah, blah is my middle name. So my question is, and I want you to just meditate on this, because this is like really foundational. If I'm chanting the blah, blah, blah mantra, and I know it, and I continue doing it, as my mother would say to me, when I did something she didn't like, or I said something she didn't like, you need to have your head examined. Like there's something wrong with your brain. It's not working right. So I'm chanting blah, 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 and I don't do anything. Something's wrong up here, right? Well, that's actually something's wrong in the heart. Yes? See? TK? Yeah. So that's the point. Now, here's my premise to all of you. When you're chanting the blah, blah, blah mantra, if you actually cared more about your spiritual life, you would catch yourself and correct yourself. If you're doing something that is not good for you, or if you could be doing something better and you know it, simply, if you cared a little more about yourself, you would do it. Why? I'm going to explain why. This is very important. Because when you care more about yourself, this is how you think. When you're doing something that's not healthy, you think, I can't do that to myself. I care too much about myself to do that to myself. Yes, that's it. If you just develop this, it can be completely transforming of your life. Have you ever been tempted to do something you shouldn't do? It's not good for you. Yes or yes? And you went ahead and did it anyway. And while you were doing it, you were telling yourself, I shouldn't do this. What do you call that? In Spanish, they call it loco. Pungo. In Hindi, it's pungo. Pungo? Pungo. In English, it's called crazy. I'm doing something. I know it's wrong. I'm telling myself, you shouldn't do this. And I'm doing it. That's called madness. Now, my premise is healthy can be anything in this context, materially, emotionally, or spiritually. And so my premise is, if we have a little more self-respect, a little more care for ourselves, we wouldn't do those things. Or at least we would do them less. We would get the determination to do it. So, every one of us has a weakness. Some of us have 108 weaknesses, but we all have weakness, which is like, you know, the big one. You know your big weakness? You know, the big, not the little one, you know, the big one. You know that one, the one that Maya's like, I can't get you on anything, but I could get you on this one. You know that one, right? Where Maya's like, if Maya can't get you on anything, if there's anything she could get me on, it would be this. You know that one. You know what the one I'm talking about? That one, yeah, okay. Whatever it is, you know, shopping, lust, anger, envy, whatever it is, you know, or all of them together. Here's a little meditation. Yeah, here's a little meditation. And also too, I want to read this comment because it fits in from Chaitanya Dasi. Said like, sometimes I care more about my false ego, like showing off, than doing what's good for me. Yeah, well, that's your big one. That's the big one. Chaitanya Dasi and all of you. A little meditation. When you're tempted, you know, if you give into that temptation, what's going to happen? You're going to tell yourself something like, I hate myself when I do that. Yes? I hate myself when I do that. What's the opposite of I hate myself? I care too much about myself to do that. So all we're saying is we need to be kinder to ourselves. Now, I know a lot of times we don't think in terms of having a relationship with ourselves. We think in terms of having a relationship with other people. Right? But, you know, like if somebody tells you, I'm not going to do this to you, something bad, and then they do it, what happens? You lose trust in them. It hurts the relationship. When you tell yourself, I'm not going to do this, and then you do it, what happens? Exactly the same thing. You lose trust in yourself. You can't even believe yourself next time you make a vow. Well, I made this vow before, I can't even trust myself. So then we're developing a kind of a toxic relationship with ourselves. Or you could say we talk about dysfunction and dysfunctional relationships. Well, you could have a dysfunctional relationship with yourself. You don't even care enough about yourself to do what you promised yourself you were going to do. That's interesting, isn't it? Have you ever done something and you said to yourself, I hate myself when I do that. I hate myself when I think that way. That's a very unhealthy position to be in, don't you think? Like you can't get away from yourself. Have you noticed that? I mean, people try to do it with alcohol or drugs, but when that wears off, you're back with yourself. So, wouldn't it be nice to care enough about ourselves that we would do what we know is best? And we would avoid what is harmful. So, if we care more about ourselves, then we'll think in a different way. We'll think, when tempted, I cannot give in to this because I cannot do that to myself. Just as we would say that to someone I love. Don't do that. That will hurt you. Right? It should be the same way with ourselves. Now, I want to tell you something really interesting. When we do the full self-care workshop, which you're getting a little summary of now, at the end, we ask the devotees, the Prabhus, and the Prabhusitas. Prabhusita means little Prabhus. That's how we're calling women here little Prabhus. That's kind of not politically correct, though. Right? That means the men are more Prabhus than the women. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just having fun with you. I totally forgot what was I saying. What was I just saying? What? Oh yeah. So at the end of the course, we said to the devotees, if you had more self-care, how would that change your life? Like you just cared about yourself a little more. And it was amazing. I was amazed, even though I was a teacher, I was amazed. All the things they said that would improve in their life if they just cared about themselves a little more. Hare Krishna. I'm going to move a little bit. Maybe we get some better light. So I look kind of like I'm in a suspense movie here. A bit dark. I don't know if it's going to help at all. Anyway, the sun's coming up, so it'll be better. Yeah. So the first time we did this exercise, I was amazed at all the things the devotees realized would improve in their life just if they cared about themselves a little more. Isn't that amazing? And I want to make a guarantee, money back guarantee. Well, of course, you didn't give any money, so I can't give you any money back. So I have to give you something else back. All right. I will return the time it takes for you to listen to what I'm saying. Yeah. So, if you develop a little more self-care, your japa will get better. even if you never go to another japa workshop in your life. Never read a book on japa. Never hear a lecture on japa. Simply by having a little more self-care, your japa will get better. That's a guarantee. That's a big guarantee, isn't it? And so the converse is true. And the opposite. If you read every book on japa, you go to every workshop on japa, and you don't have self-care, it's going to be more difficult to apply what you're learning. Does that make sense to you? Now, a lot of devotees have told me the reason they don't care, at least one of them, is they don't think Krishna cares. So if Krishna doesn't care about me, why should I care about me? Right? You could say, well, nobody cares about me. Maybe that's true, but Krishna cares. Now, this morning I was thinking about Jagai and Madhai and how when Lord Chaitanya saved them, he said, I will accept you if you repent and you rectify yourself. So that means that was the only thing that Lord Chaitanya asked. Like, whatever happened in the past, which would make possibly them think that they would never be forgiven, that wasn't considered. The only thing that was considered was the future. So now I know a lot of you are thinking, I've done many things in the past. I've turned my back on Krishna. Why would Krishna love me? And that makes sense if Krishna were like an ordinary person. Because if you turn your back on an ordinary person and you do everything opposite of what they want you to do, and you're trying to steal everything from them and imitate them, then it makes sense. Why would they love you? Well, it's a good thing Krishna is not an ordinary person, isn't it? Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna loves you, even if you don't love him. You know, the story of Krishna killing Putana is so beautiful. And you all know why it's beautiful. Because even Putana is coming to kill Krishna. Krishna took that service of feeding him breast milk as, he took that as service, as love. Hare Krishna. That's amazing. Think about it. She didn't come to do service, but Krishna took it as service. You remember that story? It's kind of a famous story. This man walked into a lecture Prabhupada was giving in New York in 1966. And he appeared to be a bit like a homeless person, dirty, maybe mentally ill. And he walked into the toilet and he put some toilet paper in the toilet and then he walked out. And Prabhupada commented that he was, just see, even he can do devotional service. So what does that mean? Here's the good news. Krishna sees the good in you. He doesn't see the bad. Now I know many of you are the exact opposite. You only see the bad in yourself and you don't see the good because you're trying to be humble, but that doesn't always work. It could just end up creating problems for you. So we think, because we know all the bad things about ourselves, we think, well, how would Krishna love me? Look how bad I am. And then we forget who is Krishna. He's not like an ordinary person. And Krishna loves you, even if you don't love him. That's a quote from Prabhupada. Okay. So, I have to convince you all that Krishna loves you. If you're not convinced yet. But just take my word for it. Prabhupada has stated it in many, many ways. Right now we're sitting outside in this beautiful area. Unlike Delhi, actually has fresh air. Or your other big cities in the world that don't really have fresh air. This has fresh air. And we're surrounded by palm trees. The sun is rising. Over here, there's a river. And in about an hour, 1 hour, we're going to have breakfast. So, this world is called a prison house. But it's a pretty nice prison. What do you think? You know, when there's lots of nice flowers out here and plants. You could see behind me, right? Kind of nice. We could give you a tour if you like. I think it's nice behind you. Also. You can see that. There's a river over here. Look at that. Where did that all come from? Who gave that to us? The same person who built the prison house gave us all these nice facilities. So we wanted to live in the prison. The Krishna said, okay, you want to live in the prison? But I'll give you sun, I'll give you water, I'll give you food. And just in case you want to get out of the prison, I'll give you a map how to get out of that. And that's called Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Now, can you say Krishna doesn't love you? Of course, you could say it if you're crazy. But if you're still crazy, I'll tell you something else to remove your craziness. I think the greatest manifestation of Krishna's love is that Krishna arranged for Prabhupada to come and save us. If Krishna didn't care, say, let them stay in prison. That's where they want to be. You know? They don't want to come back to Godhead, like whatever. And Krishna said, no, I want you all back to Godhead. And you're looking at me? Who? Who's he talking to? Looking to you? Me? He wants me? Like, why me? What did I do? I've committed more sins than as many as Jagai and Madai. Why me? Because he loves you. Why does he love me? You know the answer? This is a very deep answer. Pay attention. Because he does. That's why. That's the answer. That's the only answer you need. For all you philosophers, I know you don't like that answer. But sometimes we have to be simple. Why does he love us? Because he does. So, you know the verse in the third canto. It says, Krishna gave Putana the position of mother. Aho Bhakiyam Stana Kalakutam. She put poison on her breast. She tried to kill him. And he awarded her in Goloka Vrindavan the position, the rasa of mother. What a verse. And the verse ends, who else should I worship? Who could be more merciful? Now, I have a question for all of you. And I already know the answer is no, but I'm going to ask it. Have any of you tried to kill Krishna? Okay. And the next question I'm going to ask is, the answer is yes. Have any of you tried to serve Krishna? Okay. Now, Krishna is giving the position of mother to someone who tried to kill him. And we're trying to serve him. Just meditate on that. You don't think he'll appreciate that. He appreciated the breast milk, even though it was full of poison. You don't think he'll appreciate your humble service? Of course he will. Right. Now, why am I talking about this? Very important reason. Because if I accept in my heart deeply that Krishna loves me, there's implications. What's the implication? If Krishna loves me, it means he misses me and he wants me to go back to Godhead. Which means I have to live my life in a way to go back to Godhead. It means I have to surrender to Krishna because that's what he wants me to go back to Godhead. And to go back to Godhead, I have to surrender. Now it gets interesting. A little psychology here for all of you psychology fans. If I say Krishna doesn't love me, now I have an excuse for not surrendering. Well, he doesn't love me. So, he doesn't care if I'm just down here in this world suffering away. There's no, as we say in English, no sweat off his back. You have that saying in India? No sweat off. That means no sweat off my back. Like, no, if I say no sweat off his back, it means he doesn't care. You just learned something today, a new expression. So if Krishna doesn't care about me, why should I care about myself? Just rot away in the material world. So I believe, and you can see if this is true for you or not, when I say Krishna doesn't love me, there may be some motive to say that, to not surrender, because that's my ticket to not surrender. Does that make sense? Well, it doesn't like. Now, spin it around. Krishna loves me. Oh, really? Whoa, Krishna loves me. That's hard to walk away from. Like imagine there's a person who loves you and wants to marry you. And you're thinking, but I don't want to get married. Oh, but I love you. I'll do anything for you. It's like, why wouldn't you want to marry me? Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. You'll be happy. Yeah, but just not ready. And now you feel totally guilty because this person wants your love and this person loves you. And really, you just, all your friends are saying, just love them. No one's going to love you like them. So now, ladies and gentlemen, my dear devotees, Krishna loves you. How does that make you feel? Some of you are going to say, great. And some of you are going to say, makes me feel guilty. Why? Because I'm not loving him back. All right. Well, I have a solution for this guilt. Really simple solution. Love him back. Get rid of all your guilt, right? Okay. So I want to give you a little japa meditation here. This is Holy Name Week. Oh, I want to tell you something before I give you the japa meditation. Last night we had this amazing kirtan. Started at 10 o'clock last night. Went until 10:45. And I had a realization during the kirtan that none of the devotees were chanting the holy name. But the holy name was chanting them. You agree? You agree? Last night? Like we were just like, we were just there and the holy name was chanting us. No, I forgot. What was I going to tell you? You remember? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah. So it's a japa meditation. Krishna loves us. He wants our love. Right? All right. So chanting japa is going to help us develop our love. Right? And that's all that Krishna wants from us. Like if you don't open a temple, if you don't give Krishna 10 lakhs of rupees, if you don't make 100 million people devotees, that's not how you're going to buy love of Krishna. Oh, well, that helps, certainly. But you don't have to do that to love Krishna. Krishna wants your love. And by chanting the holy name, it awakens that love, right? So Krishna loves us. And now our job, Krishna's asking us, love him back. That's it. You take the whole philosophy, Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, cook it down into a burfi, and the burfi is Krishna loves you, and he just wants to love you back. And if you understand that, I'll give you a Bhakti Shastri degree. And if you have a Bhakti Shastri degree and you don't understand that, I'll burn your diploma. So we're chanting japa. What's our meditation? Now is time to pay back. Krishna loves me. He wants me to love him. Japa is simply, Krishna, help me love you. Help me pay you back. That's what the Maha Mantra means. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, help me pay you back. I'm just trying to give up this stubborn tendency to turn my back on you. Please help me love you because I know that's what you want. So our whole life, all we're trying to do in bhakti is to pay Krishna back, is to reciprocate with his love. That's all. That's it. That's bhakti. So if anyone ever asks you, what's bhakti? It's simply to reciprocate with God's love. To reciprocate with God's 5 words. Bhakti. To reciprocate with God's love. 5 words. That's it. And what's the Hare Krishna mantra? 5 words. To reciprocate with God's love. That's it. Krishna cares about us. We care about ourselves enough to care that Krishna cares about us. And japa is a reciprocation. That's it. Japa is not blah, 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 get my rounds done. If you're blah, 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 get my rounds done, you're going to be blah, blah, blahing for many lifetimes. And that's not a curse. It's a fact. I'm just repeating what Prabhupada said. But if you try to if your japa is to reciprocate, oh Krishna, please help me love you. You chant with devotion. Jiva Goswami said, of all kinds of chanting, chanting with love is the best. So maybe I don't have love, but I can chant with the desire to love. That's the best. Hare Krishna. Krishna loves you, even if you don't believe it. The sooner you believe it, the better. Because then you can love yourself enough to want to love Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I was going to stop here because I imagined we didn't let you ask questions yesterday. And I imagine you have hundreds and thousands of questions. And we have about 10 minutes for your hundreds and thousands of questions. If you like to put questions in the chat box, about questions about what we've read, what we've discussed. Yeah. Saket says, but Prabhuji, so many times when we focus on how merciful Krishna is and how he will see only the good, we may become careless thinking he will see only good. That is so funny, Saket. You have a very creative mind. Well, tonight it's movie night. Pizza and ice cream will be up till midnight because Krishna's not going to see that. No, Krishna will see it and he'll just cry. Why isn't my devotee chanting my name? He's not gonna send you to hell for going to the movies and eating ice cream at midnight. But he's gonna cry a little bit. Because Krishna misses you. And when you go back to Godhead, Krishna's gonna say, I missed you. What took you so long? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to embarrass you a little bit. If you go back to Godhead and Krishna says, what took you so long? What are you going to say? You're just going to look down and you're going to be thinking, I'm so sorry, Krishna. I thought there were so many important things to do. More important than you. Think about it. Krishna's going to ask you, what took you so long? What was so important? And the only answer is my sense gratification. Right? That's the only answer. Right. The devotee here is asking about tears, crying during japa. Yes. If your japa is blah, 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 you should be crying that you're chanting blah, 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 blah. So that's crying in the stage of Vaidhi sadhana. Just crying that my japa is so bad. But we can cry, Krishna, please help me develop love for you. We can cry. Right? Either cry to have love, cry that I don't have love. And I think what you might be referring to is crying in appreciation that Krishna is so loving and merciful, that he's allowing me to chant his name. That's also beautiful. You ever do that? You just like, you become overwhelmed that this fallen little Akshi on this planet, one jiva in this big country of so many countries in one universe is being allowed to chant the holy name. Yeah, that's definitely worth crying about, isn't it? Yeah, so there are many reasons to cry during japa. Right? Yeah. Now, when a pure devotee cries, that's ecstasy. That's bhav, emotion. So we have a question from Prahlad Maharaj Das. Many times we feel energy, but mostly we have not taste for japa. How can practically we can improve our love with Krishna? So, you can't force love, but you can force, I don't want to say force, but you can contemplate how fortunate you are to have the holy name. Appreciation. Krishna is willing to give himself in his name. And the more you can appreciate that, the more you will see your taste for chanting will improve. You ever appreciate something a lot, like deeply? It's a beautiful emotion, isn't it? That's kind of sometimes appreciation, if it's very strong, it's overwhelming and you just cry because you don't know what to do because there's all this emotion and energy and you don't know how to handle it, so you just cry. Right? So if you meditate on the mercy of the holy name deeply and how Krishna is he just found me in the material world, gave me the holy name, now he's pulling me back. He's giving me himself in his name. He's right there in his name. I don't need any qualification to chant. And if you go deep in that meditation, it can produce very deep appreciation. And that deep appreciation will then create this deep emotional connection to the holy name. And really, any lecture, any talk about the holy name, you should contextualize it in terms of appreciation. How can I develop more appreciation from what is being spoken here for the holy name? And how can I care? And how can I care about Krishna's love for me enough to take the holy name seriously? If we know Krishna wants our love, and that is important to him, how can we chant bad japa? We can't. It's not possible. But if we just think japa is blah, 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 Guru Maharaj said chant blah, 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 and I chant blah, 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 16 blah, blah, blah rounds, 1,728 blahs. Then that's not going to help us. And that's a total disconnection from appreciation of the holy name. You know, it's kind of like a bad arranged marriage. You know, you never saw her or him till the wedding day. You take him home after the wedding and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to work. But I'm just going to do it, you know, because that's what my parents want. And you have to be dharmic. You know? And so you stay together because it's dharmic. And you like don't even talk to one another because you don't like one another. So some of us have a bad marriage with the holy name. And we're just staying together for the kids, so to speak. We're staying together for the 16 rounds. But other than that, right now, if you take this couple and you give them some instruction, you could actually help them develop affection for one another. You could. So it's kind of where we're at with japa. We want to learn about it so we can develop affection for it. Because that's what Krishna wants. Thank you very much. I hope this helps. The next time I see you when I'm in India, you're all going to come up to me and say, Prabhu, I don't chant blah, blah, blah anymore. I care too much about myself to chant blah, blah, blah. The last week of February, we're having a retreat in Govardhan. You're all invited. 5 days. Information's on my website. We'd like to see you all there. We're going to go, we'll go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hari Hari Baba. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That is actually the true gift. And that is really very important for us because chanting is the everything for our Iskcon mission. So come on, everyone, show your gratitude towards Prabhuji. Go to the chat box and say His Grace Mahatma Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And don't forget to buy a book written by Prabhuji. The book name is Living the Wisdom of Bhakti, Life as a Spiritual Practice, Japa Affirmation, and Uplift Yourself and Change the World. And also don't forget to visit the website of Prabhuji. We are going to send it on the chat box. The website name is mahatmadas.com. So go there, connect with Prabhuji. And if you have like many questions, so you can write it down as well. We try to share the email address of Prabhuji so we can disturb Prabhuji as much as possible. So thank you so much once again, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It's such a nectar of devotion. So, all right, Prabhuji and Mataji, welcome to the show. This is me, Rupeshwar Das. We are celebrating World Holy Name Festival 2023 happening from 17th to 23rd September. And in that, we are requesting you 3 things. Just go for the fresh air Kirtan, download the Fortunate People application, which is available on the App Store, and go to your near dear ones and ask them to just chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the front of the camera, and then you can upload it on Fortunate People application. And third, we want you to every day come here 6 to 9 p.m. onwards from Indian Standard Time. We have huge lineup for so many Read I Saw. So now it's time for the second attraction of the evening. It's time to invite you. But first, I want to say, how many of you on camera? So I can see Deepa Mataji, Hare Krishna, Chaitanya Devi Mataji, Hari Bol, give me virtual high five. Akshi Goyalji, high five. Govinda Charan Prabhuji asked someone, please make me co-host. No one do that. Hari Bhakti Prabhuji was there. Hari Bhakti Prabhuji, please accept my homos, humble obeisances. Deen Anupamba Mataji is everything to us. Without her, we can't do anything. We have Alina Vildanova Mataji. Dobri Viechar, Hare Krishna, Prabhupada looking good on your background. We have Sudhama Krishna Prabhuji from Iskcon Vrindavan background. We have M. Badaji. You have a very nice beard, Prabhuji. Prem Nishtha Bhakti Mataji, Haribol. We have Priyanka Bitraji, BD from your background. Rita ji says Haribol. Prema Nishtha Bhakti Mataji says Haribol. From Himachal Pradesh, we got Prahlad Maharaj Prabhuji. And the next attraction, we also have His Grace Nityanand Prabhuji. I'm going to invite him. And then we have Ankinchan Damodar Prabhuji, Haribol. We have a blur background. And we have Scarlet Bloom Mataji, second day. I see you. Hare Krishna, please accept my most humble obeisances. Rishabh Vani Prabhuji. Wow, whenever I ask about to on the camera, then it happens. Sudevi Leela Mataji, Haribol. Rashmitra Das Prabhuji from UAE. Give me some, what is called, dirham. And we have Kanashia Prabhuji. Please accept my most humble obeisances. Mathura Das Prabhu, give me high five. You look very beautiful. Yay. No. Krishna Vani Devi Mataji, Haribol. And now, everyone, so many Haribol, and it's time to invite the next speaker. So, Prabhuji and Mataji, we have a great fortune to have on the show His Grace Nityananda Prabhuji. He was born in Latvia in 1982 as Arthur Jones Havan. At the age of 17, He embraced the path of Bhakti Yoga, and shortly after that, he came to India to explore its ancient traditions, languages, and culture. He spent 5 years in the South India studying and teaching the Vedic scriptures. The next 5 years he spent in a traditional school, Gurukul of Sanskrit in North India town of Govardhan, where he was truly trained in Sanskrit grammar and other related disciplines, teaching the same after graduation. Since 2010, he is professionally engaged in Sanskrit translation, editing, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and teaching. He loves Sanskrit, having lived in each corner of its land for more than half of his life. Among the people who speak it, chant it, and carry on its great culture. At present, he lives with his family in Vadodara, Gujarat. So, Prabhuji and Mataji, please welcome my favorite. After 365 days, I am again have your darshan, Prabhuji. So please
Hare
welcome him
Krishna.
on the show and go on the chat box and say Hari Bol, His Grace Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Welcome to the show, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Rupeshwar Prabhu, for introducing me to so many devotees. It's nice to see so many attendees. Yeah, I'm really glad to being given this opportunity to address all of you. So we will be discussing something very, very practical related to Sanskrit, and it will be not too far from the holy name as well. I've chosen this year to do something related. So we're not just going to be talking about the pronunciation of Sanskrit sounds and stuff like that. This is also important, but we'll make it a bit more relatable to the Holy Name Week. And so we will discuss the 8 Shikshashtaka verses authored by Lord Chaitanya himself. But we'll do it in a little different way, not we might not be delving into the esoteric meanings of each verse, but we will look at it from the point of view of Sanskrit, and we will learn to chant it following traditional Sanskrit system, the way the verses actually have to be chanted. But maybe some of you might be already knowing all this, so it's all right, but I'm still sure that you will learn something new today. And some of you might be, for some of you, it might be just totally new information and an eye-opener into the whole, another dimension of this traditional Vedic culture, which is Sanskrit and Sanskrit poetry and everything. Because ultimately, Shikshashtaka is also a poem. It's a loving devotional poem. It's a beautiful devotional composition by the Lord himself. So anyway, without further elaborating on this, it was an introduction. I would like to say one thing is that just to kind of break the ice, and let's see, maybe some of you can share some insights. Why do at all we need to learn about Sanskrit and pronounce it and chant it correctly? Because in Chaitanya Bhagavata, there is a verse that Murkho vadati Vishnaya, Dhiro vadati Vishnave, Ubhayostu samam punyam bhavagrahi janardanaha. So the meaning of this is that an uneducated person, or literally Murkho, a fool, will say Vishnaya when he offers to the Lord the bhoga, or when he puts the tilaka marking on his body. So Om Vishnaya Namaha. But Dhiro vadati Vishnave, the person in knowledge, he will say Om Vishnave Namaha, because he knows Sanskrit grammar. In Sanskrit grammar, you don't say, when you want to say to Vishnu, you don't say Vishnaya, like Krishnaya. So I think Vishnu also will be Vishnaya. Yeah? So let's say Vishnaya. So no, you have to say Vishnave. It's a little different ending. But anyway, so the verse says that the fool says Vishnaya, the educated person says Vishnave. But at the end, Ubhayostu samam punyam, both of them get the same pious benefit, or whatever, spiritual benefit. How? And the last line of the verse answers the question. Bhavagrahi janardanaha. We have heard it so many times. The Lord Krishna, Janardana, Vishnu, he is bhavagrahi. So he accepts the bhava, he accepts the feeling. So therefore, it is implied that if both of these people, if the fool and the learned one, if both of them had the feeling of devotion when they chanted the mantra, they both get this equal spiritual benefit, which is very interesting and very, hopeful, because, it's not necessary to learn Sanskrit to go to the spiritual world. And so now the question, I'm just like, Murkha in Bengali also means ignorant. Yeah, all Indian languages, they inherit Sanskrit vocabulary. So the question to all of you, maybe some of you can write in the chat box, why do we still, at least some of us, can learn Sanskrit? So I get already one answer from Saket Mishra. We offer everything best to Krishna. Krishna will accept bland food also with devotion, but also the best out of love. Some people will get attracted to bhakti seeing scholarship of devotees. Okay, maybe it might be the case. So in other words, they might feel that, okay, Hare Krishna chanters are not just dancers and singers. Okay, there is some intellectual background, and if they're scholars, okay, they might feel some curiosity. But I'm asking about devotees, leaving preaching aside, why it's still, I wouldn't say needed, but it's still advisable that devotees might learn a bit of Sanskrit, and at least to the level of pronouncing it and chanting the verses correctly. Yes, okay, Rasamrita Das says, helps to better understand the prayers and shlokas. Yeah, if you go into the meaning and grammar, yeah, definitely. It will open another dimension of understanding the subtleties which inevitably are lost in translation. Sound is important, Deepa is saying. Yes, sound is important. When we hear something pronounced with a correct, nice pronunciation of Sanskrit, you can feel that impact, that kind of a very powerful, powerful vibration of Sanskrit. And it's just unmistakable feeling. It's it's purifying. It's filling you with some another level, transcendental energy. Yeah. Yes, and exactly. We can pronounce nicely to please Krishna. So like any other art of devotion, you can say cooking. Yeah. Why not? Devotees, those who have inclination, they can learn hundreds of preparations to cook for the deity. So in the same way, devotees who are inclined to chant, who are inclined to understand, they can go into this field and they can do it as an offering to Krishna. That's the main thing of everything we do. It's a loving reciprocation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in whatever way that suits your nature, that Lord has blessed you with, your talent. Yeah, to understand ourselves and meditate upon that. That's the language of Shastras, Gita. Yes, somehow the Vedic scriptures are revealed in the language of Sanskrit. You can understand it's breathing of Lord Narayana. In Upanishad, it is stated, Sanskrit is breathing of Lord Narayana. And why not we reproduce this breathing in a more authentic way? Because Sanskrit grammar shastras and pronunciation shastras, they describe how to articulate all the sounds properly. So when we try to do that, we can sort of feel that spirituality of Sanskrit sound, and we feel our minds are purified. So yes, thank you all for your wonderful comments. We can do it together. It is more power. Sankirtana means together. So yeah, thank you so much. So and so the quintessential point is that just like any other cultural side of Krishna consciousness movement or Vedic culture, if you take it broader, it can be taken as a opportunity to show your love for Krishna. So, and this is how I prefer to always approach this subject, not for the sake of mundane scholarship or trying to just juggle the grammar as, it might be tempting if you have that inclination, but once you've tasted the feeling of devotion, it's nothing can compare to it. So this is how we all have to take some time out and understand some basics of Sanskrit chanting, that we can all these Sanskrit verses that we chant every day. The morning program, most of morning program is in Sanskrit and in Bengali. You can say 50-50, but morning program, let's say it's like 70, maybe 60-40, 60% Sanskrit, 40% Bengali. So yeah, Krishna loves Sanskrit. Yeah, definitely. I have no doubt about it. So therefore, if we are in touch with this Sanskrit prayers every single day, and so why not we a little bit delve into it and see how we can do it more authentically, backed up by some knowledge of how to do it properly. So I will share today the chanting techniques, practical application of how to chant the Shikshashtaka prayers. And I hope it will be very, very useful to all of you, because many devotees chant the Shikshashtaka every morning before japa or whenever. And it is, anyway, it is something very, very useful to everyone of us. So let's go on to it. We'll be reading a translation of the verse, and then we'll go into the chanting of the Shikshashtaka. So let's read the first verse. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So this verse reveals so many aspects of the Sankirtana, of chanting Krishna's names. And excuse me, I just lost my Zoom window. Okay, here I got it back. So let's go on to the first verse, and I hope I could share with you the screen. Let me see. Yeah, share screen. Okay. Can all of you see it? It's a PDF document. Yeah. This is something I have compiled. I'll share later. I've prepared a course which is called Sanskrit Pronunciation for Iskcon, which is focused on all the prayers and chants that devotees are basically from the book, the song book, prayers of the Vaishnava Acharyas that we so often chant. And I have all the demos, then I have video tutorials, and this is what you see now on your screens. This is a brochure. Actually, it's not much more than a brochure. These are elaborate notes on all the chanting. So if you go through the course, it will be all very relatable and helpful to you. So anyhow, this is the first verse, and I will chant through, and then we'll go and zoom into each line, and I explain to you what it all means. You see those like a Morse code, yeah? Hyphen, dot, hyphen, dot, hyphen, dot. So I'll explain to you the meaning of this code and how it can help you chanting all those prayers. So it goes, Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandambudhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatmasnapanam parang vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Okay, so now let's go on the first line, and we see there is that Morse code. I call it a Morse code, but anyway, three lines, two dots, again a line and a dot. So the line represents a long clap. In other words, I clap and I wait a little longer, and the dot represents a short clap. So if I would represent this line for you as a structure, as a rhythmic structure, it would be like this. And you can feel it in my chanting when I say, Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha. And there is a pause. You can see that vertical line after ha. It signifies the pause. And I complete the line. Davagni nirvapanam. So it goes like this. Long, 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 short, short, long, short, long, short, 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 long. Long, long, short, long, long, short, long. And for the long, I usually say tan. And for the short, I say ta. So tan, 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 ta, ta, tan, ta, tan, ta, 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 tan. And we complete the line. Tan, tan, ta, tan, tan, ta, tan. So if you can just clap along with me. So let's do all together the first line. Let's start. Tan, 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 ta, ta, tan, ta, tan, ta, 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 tan. Tan, tan, ta, tan, tan, ta, tan. You just follow with your eyes the line and you clap along. So, and what this signifies is that the long, the hyphen, shows us what we call a heavy syllable, or it's called guru in Sanskrit. So we have guru and laghu. There are two types of syllables that you must be able to recognize when you chant. Let me see if I okay, stop share. Yeah, so there are two types of syllables that you need to know if you want to chant correctly. It's called guru and laghu. Heavy, light. So the guru is represented as a line, laghu represented as a dot. So guru equals twice laghu, yeah? Guru is like 2, laghu is like 1. So sometimes it is said that whatever syllable in Sanskrit word has a long vowel, like for example, maha, yeah, like maha mantra. So that ha will be guru because it has a long vowel, yeah, and that is correct. But this is not the only thing. There are so many more other types of syllables that can be guru, which don't have a long vowel, and you need to know that. But I have made everything available to you in a very simple way, in a ready-made way. So guru is twice as long as a laghu. Laghu is 1. So 1 unit, 2 units. Pretty simple. Yeah. So so if we go back to our Shikshashtaka page, we can see Cheto Darpanamarjanam. So Cheto Dar. These are 3 long syllables, yeah? And you can hear it in my chanting. Cheto Darpana. Okay? So if A is always long in Sanskrit, O is long, always long in Sanskrit. But the syllable dar, even though it has a short vowel, it is still a guru syllable for a certain reason. But anyway, cheto dar. Then we have 2 light syllables, pana. So we go through them really fast. And then again, ma. Again, a long one. Cheto darpanamarjanam. Okay? You can now connect the rhythmic structure and the syllables of the words. Cheto darpanamarjanam. And again, bhavamaha. So bhavama were the light syllables. They're fast. We go through them really fast. And then again on ha, it's twice as long as each lagu. So we again stop. And here I wanted to make an observation that I've heard many devotees chant this verse. It's not wrong, but just like just an observation that devotees tend to pause after the word marjanam, yeah? Cheto darpana marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. But actually, you need to pause after bhavamaha according to the rules of this kind of verses, yeah? So you need to chant up to the word maha, and after maha, you need to pause. So bhavamaha, and then davagni nirvapanam. Davagni nirvapanam. Tan tan ta tan tan ta tan. And the easy thing about this verse is that it is, even though it is a long verse, every line has 19 syllables. The rhythm, the rhythmic structure of the verse repeats itself in each line. So in the same way you will chant the second line, and in the same way you will chant the third and the fourth lines. In that way, it is easy. So Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam. Okay? In the same way. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. Notice how I stay faithful to that rhythm of the line. Purnamrita Swadanam tam tam tatam tam tatam. Okay? Sarvatma snapanam parang vijayate tatan tatatan Shri Krishna Sankirtanam tam tam tatang tang tatang. So this is basically it. When you take what is Sanskrit chanting? It's basically the art of recognizing the the guru syllables and the lagu syllables. And any verse in any scripture, whichever you see, if you know how to recognize those syllables, you'll be able to chant them correctly. Yeah. So let me just explain to you a little bit more about these syllables. And so guru syllables, as I said, every syllable that has a long vowel is guru. Yeah. This is one way to recognize long vowel. Okay. Another feature of a long syllable. The syllable has anuswara. Okay. Anuswara is whenever you see in English transliteration this. Yeah. And sometimes words end in like patram pushpang phalang to yang. So patrang trang is a long syllable, even though it has a short vowel. Okay, I'll write pa trang, but it's guru because it's it gives the heaviness to that syllable. So therefore, I don't just say patrang pushpang phalang toyam. I say patrang pushpang phalang toyam. Tang 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 tang. You can hear that heaviness It's like some kind of elephant is walking, yeah? Boom, 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 boom. Patrang, yeah? Then there is another thing. Any syllable that ends in a visarga, yeah? So, for example, Satchidananda Vigraha Ishvara Paramah Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So Vigraha, usually we echo the visargas, yeah? There are so many other ways you can pronounce them, but Vigraha. So that will be heavy. Again, Vigraha. It's like it extends the syllable, the time to pronounce it, yeah? So therefore it's called heavy, yeah? So 1, 2, 3, a long vowel, an anusvara syllable, any vowel that followed by anusvara, that syllable will be considered a heavy one. Any vowel that is followed by a visarga will be considered a heavy syllable. And the last thing, any syllable which is followed by 2 or more consonants. This is kind of the rocket science of the whole thing. So take the word darpana. Okay, cheto darpana. I don't say cheto darpana. I say darpana. Darpana. You hear that? I don't say cheto darpana. I say cheto darpana. Darpana. I make the dar heavy. You hear that? So let's write this word and I'll explain to you what I mean. So here we have 2 consonants, yeah? R and P. So this whole thing will be kind of a heavy. So darpana, darpana. So this is how we analyze basically every verse. And then what do? You just basically clap it through and you have a ready-made like a pattern and then just add word on top of it. So this is basically what Sanskrit chanting is ultimately is boiled down to. And if you are able to recognize these heavy syllables in each verse, light syllables in each verse, you are able to crack the code. So it's all about cracking the code. Yeah. It's kind of a trendy expression these days, crack the code. So yes, this course is available. I'll post the link a little later there. So let us chant. I'll tell you one more thing about this first verse of Shikshashtaka. It is composed in a meter that is called Shardula Vikridita. There are 19 syllables in every line, 4 lines, each line has 19 syllables. And the interesting thing is that this meter, this kind of a rhythmic pattern of each line, from Sanskrit, it's translated as a play of a tiger. Play of a tiger. They carry very, very interesting names, all these Sanskrit meters. So this is the Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And there is another famous prayer that we chant in the same rhythm, which is Shad Goswami Ashtaka. Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghu Yugo Shri Jiva Gopalakao. Same. If you follow, it's like this. Vande Rupa Sanatanau Cheto Panamarjanam Bhavamaha. Okay. Shri Jiva Gopalako Davagni Nirvapanam. So you can relate. So this is Shardula Vikredita. And when we go to the next verse, it is a Nam Namakari Bahudha. So let me just share the screen. Yeah. Nam Namakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpitani Yamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivamidrishamiha Janinanuragaha. So Lord Chaitanya is speaking about his unfortunate condition. Of course, it's not his, but a conditioned soul's, that there is no attraction to the holy name, Anuraga. Yeah. And he explains in the first two lines that holy name inside contains all the Lord's energies, and there is no strictly prescribed time for remembering and chanting it. Okay, so now this second verse, it has a different structure. Yeah, the lines are much shorter. So this has 14 syllables on every line, and it's called Vasanta Tilaka, and from Sanskrit it is translated as the ornament of spring. Another very interesting, intriguing name, ornament of spring. So Nam Namakari Bahudha. So you can see again, following that lines and dots, tan tan ta tan ta 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 tan ta ta tan ta tan tan. Now I will ask you, do you hear any other very, very famous thing that devotee chant that have the same feel? Tan tan ta tan ta 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 tan ta ta tan ta tan 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 ta tan ta 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 tan ta ta tan ta tan tan. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Brahma Samhita Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sakalpa Vriksha Laksha Vritesha, and so on. So again, you can relate. These are the same standard Sanskrit meters that the acharyas they use every now and then. So when you are able to actually recognize them, you'll be able to see that this is verse. Oh, it's just exactly like Brahma Samhita. It's again Vasanta Tilaka 14, and I know how to chant it. I know that pattern. I know how to pronounce it. And there are so many more very interesting meters. That how about the Mudarashtakam? Yeah, that's another meter. That's 12 syllables per line. But let's stay focused on Shikshashtaka for this time. And there's another thing is when we go on to the third verse of Shikshashtaka, which is speaking about the humility, being lower than a blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree. In that condition, you can chant the holy name continuously, offering respects to everyone and so on. So we have, these are 8 syllables per line. And this is what we have the most, you can say the most popular Sanskrit meter. And the name of it is Anushtubh. Anushtubh. It's coming from the Vedic Sanskrit, but anyway, many devotees think, these are easy verses. Whenever we see Bhagavad Gita, I know these are short verses. It's easy to chant. I'm scared of the long verses. Yeah, like Cheto, the Ovande Rupa, 19 syllables, and you go short circuit. How to read it? I'll tell you one thing, very important thing, which you probably never heard from anyone, is that this kind of verses, Shikshashtaka 3, and most of the Bhagavad Gita, and at least half of the Bhagavatam, which is composed in this very simple meter called Anushtub, which has only 8 syllables, so little per line. They are the most tricky and the most difficult to chant if you want to chant them correctly. So this is something that you probably never heard, but I know from the experience and from studying this science for quite some time. Why? Because if you noticed in the first verse of the Shikshashtaka, Cheto Darpanamarjanam, we had 19, but every line was the same. It followed the same rhythmic structure. Tan 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 ta ta tan ta tan ta 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 tan, and you do it in every line the same. Nam namakari bahudha, same like Brahma Samhita. Tan tan ta tan ta 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 tan ta ta tan. Nam namakari bahudhani jasarva shaktis tatrarpitani yamita smaranena kalaha. You can chant verses in so many melodies. That's another topic. Here we are talking about the technical, yeah. Again, same. Every line follows the same pattern. But when you come to this Anushtub, these short, small verses, innocent verses, this is where it gets tricky, because every line is slightly different from another, and you really need to know the science. And I think it's very short time for us to explain everything. I just gave you in a nutshell a few minutes before which syllables are considered gurus, which syllables are considered lagus, but it takes some time to actually develop that eye and ability and skill. But once you do it, it stays with you for whole life. So anyway, now let's just chant it, and then we'll have some time. Maybe I'll open for some questions. So let's go on to. I'll share the screen, and we have here Shikshashtaka 3. So as I mentioned, every line has slightly different rhythmic structure. Yeah. So we have the first line. Trina dapi suni chena tatan tata tatan tan tan. This is how it's to be chanted rhythmically. Of course, you can employ any melody that you want. Trina dapi suni chena, or Trina dapi suni chena. Any melody you like. But the rhythmic structure stays the same. The rhythm stays the same. That's whole point of Sanskrit chanting. We are focusing here on that rhythm pattern. Okay? So tan tan ta 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 tan tan tan. Trinadapi suni chena. So many times I hear devotees, of course, there's nothing wrong in making mistakes. But anyhow, that's just general tendency to chant Trinadapi suni chena. Why api? Did you see any long e there? Usually, many vowels there shown as long when you see the line above them. Or in Devanagari, it's a different system, of course. But yeah, anyway, for this presentation, we are presenting it in transliteration. So P is short, and it's a light syllable also. So it's not Trinada Pi Suni Chena. It's not tatan 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 tan. It's Trinada Pi Suni Chena. A very subtle thing, but it's quite different when you chant. So Trinada Pi Suni Chena. So next line. Taro Rapi Sahishnuna. More tolerant than a tree. Again, rhythm is tatan tata tatan tatan. Taro Rapi Sahishnuna. Taro Rapi Sahishnuna. Half of the line was the same, but in the end we had slightly different thing. In the beginning we had ni chena. Here we have hishnuna tan tatan. Okay, and the third line will be quite different from both of the first line. Amani namana dena. amanina manadena, tatan tatan tan tatan tan, amanina manadena. And very often devotees, when they chant these short verses, they kind of presume that every line will have the same pattern. And we often see this. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. But everything is it's not like that. As I mentioned, these short verses, to chant them correctly, you cannot just replicate that pattern from line to line. You need to know that. So we chant it as amanina manadena tatan tatan tan tatan tan. A little bit unusual, yeah. And the last line says that only in that consciousness we can chant the holy name always. Kirtaniya sadaharihi tan tatan tan tatan tatan. Kirtaniya sadaharihi. Kirtaniya sadaharihi. Tan tatan tan tatan tatan. So this was the third verse of Shikshartaka. And as I mentioned, it's the toughest one from the point of view of chanting, because every line has a slightly different rhythmic structure. Of course, if you don't know much about it, if your listeners don't know much about it, it's all right. You chant the best you can. But okay, we have an opportunity to learn about this. Okay, so it's nice to take advantage and kind of expand your skills a little bit more. Okay, we have where can we find this? I'll share with you very soon the recordings, the demo, the demo videos that I have of this. Prabhuji, the pattern in Anushtup Chanda does not repeat line to line, but does the Guru Lagu pattern repeat for every Anushtup Chanda? No. You see, Anushtup, this kind of short verses. No, they don't. You can sometimes coincidentally find some things which are which might be similar, like one verse will be similar to another verse, but there is always some kind of so-called inconsistencies. They are not inconsistencies, but they are a little bit not so regular. Okay, so please check the Kirtan Ministry's YouTube channel and the Kirtan Ministry's website. That is my demo recordings and some of the tutorials. And here I can share with you now on YouTube. If you go, there will be sorry, I have not prepared that link, but I'll just get it in a minute, that you can just have an idea of this. Okay, here is the playlist. Tick. Yeah, I'm posting it here in the chat. Okay, this is the first message. Sorry. I think it's not to everyone. Meeting group chat. Yeah, now I'm posting it to everyone. Yeah. Yes, it went. See that YouTube link? So I think this is the first video of my course on Sanskrit pronunciation for Iskcon, and you can have an idea of things that I explained there. And if you want to learn more, there are always those who want to learn more, and this is very nice. Here is where you can get more. There is a website which I run with my Sanskrit courses, and Iskcon Sanskrit pronunciation for Iskcon course is also there. It has quite some extra things included, and you can find some other in-depth Sanskrit pronunciation and chanting courses. I call it my Sanskrit Sense School. So if you want to become the part of the Sanskrit Senses School, you can just check it out, explore, and see what you can learn. It's a whole universe of Sanskrit knowledge, which is very practical, because most of us like to chant verses and to chant mantras. So this is where you can learn the stuff. And for now, let's see if some of you have any questions. We have 10 minutes left. I thought we'll be done like with Shikshashtaka in half hour, but it always takes more time. Please ask anything on Sanskrit pronunciation and on Sanskrit chanting. If you have any questions, we have some time. We have a few minutes here.
Hare Krishna, Nityanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful hearing from you and getting to learn a few tricks. Like you said, it's not possible to squeeze in so much within this short time. But specifically with regards to the Shikshashtakam, you mentioned something and this really hit me. The first line that I chant usually, and I break it. I go Cheto Darpana Marjanam Mahadavagni Nivapanam. So how does it really affect in terms of, if you break it earlier versus later? One side is the pronunciation, but the second thing is the meter that you're talking about. So,
it doesn't actually do a lot of damage, let's say, but it's just the sages who have invented these Sanskrit meters. They have stipulated that the pause has to come after the syllable number such and such, and that's where it is, and it's all given. So in this Shardula Vikridita, we have that placement of a pause. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamaha. It comes after the 12th syllable, and then you continue. Davagni Nirvapanam. It kind of adds some kind of a rhythmic sense to it. Tan 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 ta ta tan ta tan ta 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 tan 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 ta tan tan ta tan. It helps you also to take a breath if the line is long. It has quite a practical useful point.
Yeah.
So anyway, meaning wise, pronunciation wise, it doesn't affect, of course. It's just how close you want to be to the science, to the
Sure.
Yeah, that's all it means. Yeah, here specifically for the pause type. And most of the Sanskrit meters that have slightly longer lines, they always have a pause somewhere. And it just helps us to take another breath in the middle and like that.
Right. And
thank you so much for the question. Do you have anything else?
just to add to that, this very line. So how would, in case there is no the bar,
okay,
how would you know where to make that pause?
How do you know where to make the pause? Is that you need to know that those meters, those patterns. You need to know those patterns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
They're about 10 to 15 meters that are mostly in use. Mostly. That
Okay.
you will find them here and there. You will recognize them here and there. They are kind of considered more popular. There are many more, of course. Many more, like dozens and dozens, maybe even hundreds. But what is actually in use is some 10, 15. 80% of Sanskrit literature, Bhakti literature, 10 or 15. So if you train yourself to recognize those, you are very much you will feel confident and safe to read anything practically from our scriptures.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So there is another question. Thank you so much, Govind Charan.
Thank you. Appreciate
Question. What is easiest way to remember Bhagavad Gita verses, Prabhuji? So easiest way to remember Bhagavad Gita verses, I guess repetition is the key. Repetition is the key. So you just keep repeating lines. And the easiest way, I just give you the best tip. Nowadays, lots of technologies all around us. So let's use it. Every phone has a voice recorder. So chant your verse which you want to memorize, and just keep listening to it whole day, or at least a few times a day. And this is, I think, the easiest way if you employ the technology. So another question is, Prabhuji, is how is I could know something is misspelled here. Because they are not long vowels. Yeah.
Che or to.
Yeah.
In cheto, that one.
Yeah, the A is long. A is always long. You see, that's the trick about the transliteration, is that we have like will have its counterpart. E will have its longer version. E. U will have its longer version. U. Yeah. But there are some that don't have line, but they are nevertheless long, which is and O. There is no longer version. They are always long. So this is something that you just need to remember. And O is always long. Hare Krishna. We don't say Hare Krishna. But sometimes devotees do say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. E is always long. And O is always long. Govinda. It's not Govinda. Very often you say Govindamadi Purusham. It's Govindamadi Purusham. Govindam. O is always long, regardless. So you can always remember mentally the line above it. You can draw if it helps. So this is what it is. We have 4 minutes left. Could you please tell us the proper pronunciation of the Maha Mantra? Please go to my YouTube channel. It's called Sanskrit Sense. Sanskrit Sense is my YouTube channel, and I explain there. I have a video on Maha Mantra pronunciation. I'll just post directly the YouTube channel link. Here is the link to the channel. You find in playlists there is Sanskrit pronunciation for Iskcon. I posted the link slightly above in the chat. But anyway, you just go and you can find so many other interesting things that are related to Sanskrit. And I recorded a separate video on the Maha Mantra. So yeah, and please, those of you who have some more interest, I'd really like to get in touch with you. You can enroll in some of my courses. I love to guide my students. And yeah, I hope this presentation was that many of you have gotten something out of it. We have not been able to finish the Shikshashtaka, but anyway, I guess you had some kind of a glimpse into what means Sanskrit chanting and what it all involves. The main thing, I guess, would be the for many of you to realize is that there are light and heavy syllables, is that basically everything is made of these two things. So Hare Krishna. So
Grateful to you, Nityananda Prabhu. Thank you very much. Over
thank
to
you so much.
Rupeshwar. Rupeshwar Prabhu, over to you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Nityananda Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your priceless time. Iskcon Kirtan Ministry is heartily glad for your priceless time. I still remember that last year we explained about the Narsingadev prayer, which helps me a lot. So thank you so much for your this fantastic Sanskrit pronunciation class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So now, everyone, welcome to the World Kirtan Party. This is World Holy Name Festival. This is a global party. We are celebrating day 2. This is me, Rupeshwar Das from Ujjain. And I'm again welcoming you to Iskcon Kirtan Ministry present World Holy Name Festival 2023. We want 3 things from you. Just go for the fresh air Kirtan, download the Fortunate application, and ask to your near dear to just chant one time Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, make a video and upload it on the application. And third thing we want, that please come every day for this whole week, 17th to 23rd, because we have so many realized soul which is coming on the show. And also, we have international Kirtaniya for you for make your spiritual journey so melodious. So now it's time to announce the next artist, which is coming from the Croatia. But first, don't forget that tomorrow we have a strong lineup for you. Tomorrow we have Japa retreat, which is led by His Holiness Bhakti Prema Swami Maharaj, who is the disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. He's my Guru Maharaj as well. And he's my counselor and teaching master, His Holiness Bhakti Prema Swami Maharaj. And then tomorrow is, as a main act of the evening, we have His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, who is going to tell us about Kirtan standard. Then after that, we will go to Vrindavan for international Kirtan. So now it's time to welcome the rock star of Iskcon. Let me introduce His Grace Ojasvi Prabhuji, who has started his spiritual life by the end of 1993 in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In his birth town, Sarajevo, he was born in 1975. When he was 17 years old, he first time came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's book, The Science of Self-Realization, which opened a whole new world for him and connected everything he knew into one entirety. After some time of association with devotees, he started to be strongly attracted to the Kirtan aspect of devotional service to the Lord and devotional music globally, being himself a music lover. In 2004, he got initiation from His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and a blessing for performance of Kirtan. Priceless devotional ambience in Kirtan and association of devotees inspired him to work on improving his abilities. And since 2012, he is traveling around the world, being invited to different Kirtan festivals as a participant and as guest. In 2015, he met his wife, Sudevi Vilasini Devi Mataji, who is his greatest support and blessings. She spent some time in Vrindavan, serving in Mataji Kirtan group. They travel together performing Kirtan for pleasure of the devotees and the Lord, decorating events with beautiful Vedic wisdom and inspiring other couples to go deeper into understanding their material unions. Next to it, they started an Ojasvi Kirtan project through which they desire to represent the beauty of Sri Krishna, his wisdom and devotional music. Also by experiencing the states and needs of devotees around the world, they founded online vocal school to assist others in developing themselves in the field of Kirtan culture and in finding the personal way to bring the inner devotional world outside through the beautiful process of singing. So Prabhuji and Mataji, please welcome His Grace Ojasvi Prabhuji on the show for Kirtan.
So
let me see how many of you.
There's a bit of
Yes,
a delay from Ojasvi Das. They're having a bit of a challenge, so they'll be joining in a bit late.
Okay. So let me see how many of you on camera. We have Mehra Ashokji who is showing me the terrace of his home. We have Mandar Prabhuji. Mandar Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Scarlett Blom Mataji are still there. Sanjay Prabhuji, please accept my most humble obeisances. Welcome to the World Holy Name Festival. We have Yadav Shakle Prabhuji. We have Ravi Shankar Sharmaji on the yellow t-shirt. Give me virtual high five, Ravi Prabhu. We have Shantanu Prabhuji who is showing me the mirror. Thank you so much for showing me the mirror. We have Khungar Prabhuji. So come on, everyone. If you're ready for the international Kirtan, just go on the chat box and say Hari Bol. I want to see how many of you are active on the chat box section. Yes, Mehul Prabhuji, you got the email ID of Prabhuji. I think so. We have Rasamrita Prabhuji. Please accept my most humble obeisances. We have Chit Hari Shyama Prabhuji from Thane. We have Srinivas Prabhuji. We have Yadav Sakle Prabhuji. We have Leela Mai Mataji. We have Manjari Mataji. We have Chaitanya Mataji. Please accept my most humble obeisances. The background is from Mayapur, I think. We have Sudevi Leela Mataji. We have Keshavi Mataji. We have Kanchana Pille Mataji from Malaysia. This is a global party. This is the best thing, right? We have Khungar Prabhuji from Nagpur, India. So we are waiting for Ojasvi Prabhuji to connect, and then we'll start the international Kirtan. Tomorrow we have His Holiness Bhakti Prem Swami Maharaj for Jap retreat. We have His Holiness Shri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj for the Kirtan Standard Seminar. And then after that, we will go directly to the Vrindavan. And Vrindavan, they are going to play a special Kirtan for World Holy Name Festival from 24-hour Kirtan team, which always makes me so good. In Vrindavan, every singer is melodious, isn't it? This World Holy Name Festival is started by Iskcon Kirtan Ministry because 17 September 1965 is the day when Srila Prabhupada is arrived in America and spread the Krishna consciousness. Yadi Prabhupada na hoite, tabe ki hoite. So that is why His Holiness Shri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj and under the guidance of His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj started this World Holy Name Festival. And in this festival, we want three things: fresh air Kirtan, fortunate people application. Go to that application, upload the video of stranger people, ask them to just chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra and upload it on the application. And third thing we want to come every day 6 to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time to this YouTube channel. We have so many great souls which will show you so many other things like pronunciation. We have self-care seminar just finished today, and that was amazing. We also have coming up in later days, we have His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj, who is also present in Ujjain. We have His Grace Gaurang Prabhuji. We have Bhakti Ananta Krishna Prabhuji Goswami Prabhu from Moscow for International Kirtan. We have Remembering Srila Prabhupada session by the longest servant of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. His name is Shruti Kirti Prabhuji. We have Glories of Holy Names by His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj. Soon he will be confirmed. And we have Swarup Damodar Prabhuji from Dubai. So yes, Prabhuji, you have some good news, or otherwise I will start chanting and dancing.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We all need to chant and dance. So for the time being, here's what we have. We have the Vrindavan group live from Iskcon Vrindavan. They're going to be doing Kirtan for the time being until Ojasvi Das and Sudevi Vilasini Devi Dasi, they are able to join us on Kirtan.
Wow.
Right? So
come on, everyone, let's go to the Vrindavan.
Jai.
And if you want a clear sound, just go to the setting and enable the original sound. So you will get the crystal clear sound.
Bihari Gaura Hare Bihari Gaura Hare Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. हरि राम संकीर्तन की श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की राधा श्याम सुंदर ललिता विशाखा की गौर निताई की जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की बोलिए जय जय श्री राधे नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नमस्ते नरसिंहाय नरसिंहाय प्रह्लाद दायिने प्रह्लाद दायिने प्रह्लाद दायिने काशी पूर्वका काशी पूर्वका काशी पूर्वका काशी पूर्वका टंकान खालय टंकान खालय तो नरसिंह पर तो नरसिंह तो नरसिंह तो नरसिंह पर तो नरसिंह नरसिंह पर तो नरसिंह तो नरसिंह पर तो नरसिंह नरसिंह पर तो नरसिंह जतो जतो दाम ततो नरसिंह जतो जतो दाम ततो नरसिंह नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह हृदय निसिंह वहे नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह निसिंह हृदय निसिंह वही नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह निसिंह हृदय निसिंह वही नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह वादे शरणं प्रपदे नरसिंह वादे शरणं प्रपदे अवकार कमल बोले नाखा मधुभूत श्रृंगा दलिता हिरण्य कशिपु तान बेंगा केशावधृत हरारे रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे तब कर कमल नाका मधुत सिंगार दलित हिरण्य कशिपु तनु बिंगा केशवदीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवदीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे केशवदीता
नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश
जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय गौर हरि बोल 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 नरसिंह भगवान की प्रहलाद महाराज की गौरू परमानंदे
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Ujasvi Prabhu, most welcome onto this wonderful World Holy Name Festival program. We've been anxiously, eagerly waiting for you to join us. Rupeshwar, are you there with us? Yeah, so he is. I hope we are all good to start now. Yeah. We're not able to hear you yet, Ujasvi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Govind Charan Prabhuji. Please ask Prabhuji to connect his audio. Actually, audio is not connected.
Okay. Ujasvi Prabhu, if you can hear me, your audio is not connected yet.
Prabhuji, I think he cannot hear. You have to send him a message.
Sure.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the World Holy Name Festival 2023. Ojasvi Prabhuji just joined us and he will start the Kirtan soon. So get ready for yourself for the Kirtan, right? Ojasvi Prabhuji is now the co-host and he will start that soon. Let me introduce him one more time. Let's ask Ojasvi Prabhuji. So Ojasvi Prabhuji, we can't able to hear you. You can enable your audio if I'm audible to you. So please connect your audio.
Now, Haribol.
Yay! Finally, we hear your melodious voice. Haribol!
Haribol!
Come on, everybody, go to the chat box and say Haribol and welcome to the super fireball of Iskcon melodious voice, Ojasvi Prabhuji and his divine wife. So, Prabhuji, welcome to the show. I already introduced you to the audience. So now it's time for you to mesmerize us with your melodious voice.
Thank you, dearest devotees. Please excuse us for a little late, for some small delay. I mean, it's not small anyway. Okay, thank you very much, dearest devotees, for your opportunity to give us to sing, to please the devotees and Lord Shri Krishna, and we will now start to sing, and hopefully to please the Lord and the devotees. Thank you. Is sound okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Kirtan Pura.
Can you increase the audio, the output?
Huh?
Did you increase the output, the overall output?
To increase.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah, this is better.
Is it better now?
Very good.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Namaha Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale. Please, if something is not good with the sound, you can write us on the WhatsApp. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Dev Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Rama Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Jai Radhe Shyam.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare
Ram Ram ki jai.
Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Govinda. Hey Govinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama
got a message on the chat box, and someone said that super transcendental Kirtan. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It is really very melodious. Come on, everyone. His Grace Ojasvi Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much, dear
Thank you
devotee.
so
Devi
much, Prabhuji's
Vilasini
Mataji.
Mataji ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Haribol.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your priceless time. Iskcon Kirtan Ministry is heartily glad to you, your wife, and your daughter. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
It
Who
is
is
such an
now?
incredible evening. You make us real like go to the divine sky. Wow.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's Jai. Thanks to all the
So
devotees.
everyone, this is World Holy Name Festival. It's a global party. Don't forget to join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we have His Holiness Bhakti Prem Swami Maharaj with us for a Japa retreat. And this is going to be really very good day because after that we have His Holiness Sri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj who is going to tell us about Japa seminar, Kirtan standard seminar. And after that we will go to the Vrindavan for international Kirtan. So that's it from the presentation area. Thank you so much for joining us. We will wait for you tomorrow at 6 to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So everyone, don't forget to send a message before you're leaving. Say Haribol to everyone.